Welcome back. In prior videos, I've done a couple repairs on these ultrasonic diffusers meant for aromatherapy. And just recently, I had one of my customers come back to me and say that their power supply had died. So being that I have one of these, I decided that I would give them my power supply and then order some new ones for myself. And I told the lady, I would order some, don't worry about it, here's one of mine. And the story goes that she ended up calling the manufacturer the following day and asked them how much a new charger would cost. And they told her it'd be a whopping 20 bucks plus shipping, and it was going to take them a couple weeks to get them out to her. So I says, don't worry about it, I already ordered them, I got them cheap. Had to go directly to China for them, because of course I went on eBay and looked for a 24 volt DC 800 milliamp power supply and couldn't find any vendors in the States here that was carrying one. So to China I went. And I figured at the price, plus they were offering a deal, if you bought 3, you got 20% off of the total or something like that. So I ended up getting a couple of them and replaced mine with one, and then I would use the other ones for the store. So if happened again, I'd have them. So here's the new one that I got. And I will tell you that the original one just shorted out. I'm not sure why, something internally just went on it. She didn't have it for very long, and wasn't really worth the effort, looking into it. But I did manage to tear it apart, and I don't have the whole case here anymore. This is the half of it. You can see it is actually smaller than the new one that I got. And the wire is much longer, and it also has the plug with a 90-degree end on it. Now, I failed to notice that the new one didn't have that when I ordered it. So now I have this conundrum here where you can see it sticks out the bottom and not the right way. So I figured for mine at least, I would go ahead and replace the lead with the one that came off. Now I have one of these buck boost converters on here for now to step up to 12 volts from my step up from 12 volt to 24 volt from my power supply here. And I just kind of soldered the leads on. So then I decided, well, I'm sure I could modify this one. Now this original one was a pain in the butt to take apart, but the newer one here, using one of my iFix opening tools, actually came apart pretty easily once you snap the snaps off in here. But when I got inside this thing, I found something that was quite appalling. First of all, there's nothing really holding it in. They just put a little piece of sticky pad on the back here to kind of just cover over the high voltage terminals, the 120 volt terminals here, and then this just presses up against it, and then the case, as I drop it, just kind of pressed in and held it in. You can see there's another little piece of that rubber here. So I thought that was kind of precarious, that why didn't it have any kind of slotted insert like the other one did. It just actually kind of slid in sideways here, and it had pieces in the plastic here to prevent it from sliding around. So I thought that was neat. And then I saw something really alarming. The wires that come out here are actually soldered onto the bottom as like an afterthought. And if you look carefully here, there are actually 2 wires that come off the top of the board, and they were just cut. So this thing apparently was repurposed. You could see, yeah, here they are. Now there really is nothing preventing them from shorting out. So I said, that's crazy. I mean, the rest of this thing looks fairly decent. I mean, there's a bunch of shmoo all over the back of it here from the soldering process, and it's not the best soldering job. I mean, but there's some slots slitted in here for isolation, and there's a wide track here, which is nice. Now, I'm not a power supply expert by no means, but I have watched quite a few videos where they point different things out, and right away when I saw that, I thought that was pretty crazy. Also, there's these little pins over here which look like they make contact to something. I'm assuming they were made into another case where they might have slid in sideways, and then that's where it connects to the mains voltage. So I'm going to have to go ahead and just clean this up a little bit. But I thought that was pretty neat. Obviously quality of some of these products is questionable. I mean, the price was like $6 and change, including the shipping. So I was kind of expecting a little bit of a bodge job here, honestly, but nothing like this. I did plug it in and I did test it with my multimeter, and I tried it out with the unit, and it does work, and I do get the 24 volts out of it. But it's just, I don't know, it's just discerning that they, you know, bodged it on like that and just have these wires up here. So I'll spare you the boredom of watching me do it. I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the Heiko over here and just clean this thing up, and I'll show you the end result when I'm done with it. But yeah, yikes. Also, behind that pad, you get to see those little wires just stuffed on there. Now this thing, it doesn't draw a lot of current, but still, you know, it's not the best wiring job. I'll probably go ahead and just hit that with some of the liquid electrical tape that I have here, just to give that just a little extra level of protection, and I'll stick the rubber back on top of it. So let me go clean this up, and we'll be right with you. All right, this is better. Now, unfortunately, as I started messing around with this a little bit, the thin red wires that were coming off the tabs back here and connecting to the board had actually broke right away from the board. They were very, very thin. So I upgraded them to 22 gauge wire, which isn't the heaviest, but it's certainly bigger than what was there. And while I was there, I took those little tabs off that were on the top here. It seems like the tabs are there, and then they soldered the wire to the back side of the board. So with the tab removed, I actually have the wire coming through, and then resoldered it on and connected it across the two leads that were there, so it has a nice area of connection. And then I did the same thing with the low voltage wires on this end. Brought them right through the board, soldered them on. And as I mentioned, I did go ahead and put the liquid electrical tape on the inside there just to block those contacts off. And I'm just going to reattach the foam block right where it was back on top of that, then reassemble this. Now the only unfortunate thing is I don't have a strain relief down at the bottom here, so I'll have to improvise something there. And I'm just going to go ahead and snap this together. I did already test it out, it works fine. And you know, now I have this nice long wire on it with the correct end, and this is, you know, basically how it should be. Now I can buy these leads already made up with this end on in the correct piece. I think this is a 5.5 millimeter by a 2.1 millimeter inside diameter. Either that or it's a 2.5. It's one of the two. I'm pretty sure it's 2.1 though. I'll have to go back to the description and look. Now I'm not going to put a link in the description to where I bought this from, because I don't actually recommend getting it from that seller. Basically, you know what you're getting when you pay a little bit of money for stuff like this, and you know, most of the time the more you pay, the better the piece of the quality is, for the most part. I mean, not always, but for the most part. So I did know what I was getting into, but that's why I opened the thing up, because I really wanted to see what kind of quality this was in. I mean, for $6 and change, including shipping, and it came relatively quick, you know, considering it came from China. I had it like within 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, whatever. I've had stuff that took months to get to me, so I'm pretty surprised it came that quickly. And you know, given that I got a discount for ordering quantity of them, it's not horrible, but you know, just have to be wary of what you're getting into. I haven't opened up the other models to see what they look like, but I'm quite sure it's going to be just the same. Well, with that, there really isn't much more to show with this particular video, so I want to thank you for watching. If you're not already a subscriber, I really appreciate if you do that. I am trying to build this channel, and I am getting pretty close to my goal of 100 subscribers for this year. Of course, it'd be nice if I succeed that goal, but right now I'm, you know, shooting for attainable numbers. If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down, and please leave a comment in the description below, or in the section below, so I can find out, you know, what's you know, a good way to improve the videos, and that's going to be based upon your comments. And as always, thanks for watching.